Alright guys, so I'm going to be doing a review on my Redline SFR that I just got. I got to get this video done in here because my brother's going to be back next weekend and he does not let me film in this room. So for the sake of having quality lighting, I'm going to be doing this video now. So I purchased this regulator from Airsoft Master. I've seen CKB Russia, he always mentions them in his videos, and on Instagram he always does live videos at Airsoft Master or some other fields and retailers over in California. So I've seen him give them shout outs a lot, and I thought why not check them out, because I'm tired of buying from e-bike, honestly. I've already opened it up, but this is what it came in. It came in a box. It was priority mail. It was $8 for USPS priority, which is good. E-bike does not actually even offer USPS shipping. Don't know why. They ship UPS. And to get like 3-day shipping would cost like $20 to $40 depending on the size of the box, where you can get priority from USPS for, it was $8 in this case. So it comes in the Redline SFR bag. It does mention what you're getting. The Redline does sell other regulators, of course. I have one of their older ones, which I will compare to the new one. But when you pull it out of the bag, you get the regulator itself. You get the hose. If you get the version with the hose, you don't have to get the hose. And then it also comes with a new HPA fitting, which is nice, considering I do a lot of V12 work, and the V12 valves that come in your V12s are garbage. Those blue valves with the blue cap on them, they're trash. In fact, I have probably 15 of them downstairs because I ditch them every time I work on a customer's HPA gun because they're garbage. That's why I recommend the Grip Connect so much, or the IGLs. But these are good. These are, Polar Star, Wolverine, Redline. Those engines or regulators that come with these valves are really, really good. Those brands have really good valves. The hose here is the camo version. It's like brown and black, so it's not really much of camo. Infinite air right there. So I actually purchased this because I was going to sell my old regulator with this hose. The person has yet to pay me. Don't even know if he wants it, but I'm going to use my old line with this new regulator. So I have not actually tested the length of these hoses to see if they are the same. And it looks like the camo one is longer. That would honestly be helpful. I do like the longer hoses just for reach, for when you're playing, but for look and kind of comfort, I guess, I like the ones that are tight. This is a hose that's short and it's tight to my body. It goes right under my armpit and it's super tight and I hardly ever notice it. But as far as reaching, if you do a lot of reaching, or I guess if you're like sniping, like if you have a DMR, you kind of want to have reach with your rifle. If you crawl on the ground, kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe a longer one would suit you, but this one seems to be longer. I cannot find anywhere on e-bike or on Airsoft Master where it says the actual length of this hose, of the camo hose, so I can kind of tell you. But it's quite a bit longer, as you can see there. I have them pretty much pulled tight, and that one's quite a bit longer. So, you do you, whatever suits you best. But I went ahead and just basically am using my old line with the new regulator. So my old regulator is a Redline Firebase. These used to be very popular with HPA people back years ago. These were when HPA first started being a thing. This is what people bought. I had an older one. I actually had my brother's old one. It seemed to work well for him. I ended up using that with an HPA pistol. I even used that with my SMP. It was a good regulator at first. I remember the refresh being really, really good. And all of a sudden, it just stopped being good. Redline sent me a few replacement parts to replace inside of it, and it still wasn't very good. And it was erratic. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't, depending on if my tank was full or how long my regulator had actually been on, and if I would reset it, all that sort of stuff. I ended up selling that one and actually buying a used one, but it was like a year old. He said the guy that I bought it from said it was a year old. I ended up purchasing it, which I should not have. I ended up spending what I sold my other one for, pretty much, on this one. And, at first the refresh was okay, and I've had this for about 4 months. The refresh was okay, and it's still okay. On a full tank, it seems to be pretty good. But the Redline SFRs are just so much more SLP-like. They have much more better efficiency from what I've heard, and then also the refresh is much better like SLP. So, you know, I just went ahead and just spent the money and bought the Redline SFR, so I am going to sell this. Don't get me wrong, the Redline Firebases are still pretty good. They retail for $160 with the line, and these retail for $145 with the line. So it makes sense just to buy the SFR. If you have the choice, just buy the SFR. It's going to give you better performance overall, even if you're not running high rate of fire. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be a lot better option if you ask me. Alright, so now about features on the SFR by Redline. So this is going to have a QD portion on the top, which is pretty much standard for Redline products, it seems, because it's on the top. Out of the box, you can't actually move this to the sides. You can actually move those screws and adjust that. And I would assume that you can probably adjust this switch if you wanted to, but on the top makes more sense. It comes out of a bag a lot better. All this is CNC components. The gauge goes from 0 to 160, which is the same case with pretty much all regulators, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 160 is pretty much max for all regulators. This screw over here, you can unscrew this cap. This screw is going to be for your PSI adjustments. So that's how you're going to turn your FPS up and down. It's also got 2 holes on either side for your tourniquet lock, your zip tie or whatever. Fields should be doing this. That is just the thing. Fields should be having turn-knee locks on their regulators. It does not make any sense not to have it because people continue to complain about how players turn up their HPA engines or turn up their air to shoot hot or whatever stupid people want to say. The reason why people do that is because, well, they're scums if they are actually turning the regulator up. But it's the field's fault for not regulating that, because nowadays, just in the world, you have to regulate people on, not cheating. It's a game, you do that in sports. People cheat and they get investigated for it or whatever the case may be. You can't do certain things in sports, and so it's the same way here. And there's precautions like a freaking drug test. A tourney lock for a regulator is a drug test for a person playing sports. Okay, let me put it that way. So, you just got to do it. You have to do it, even if people aren't known for it. You got to do it, and it's not on the player's fault or some players ruining or abusing the system. It's not it's if somebody is actually turning up the regulator and shooting hot, that is abusing the system, or turning their rate of fire up when a place has a limit. That's abusing the system, but you could say the same thing for an AEG. If you were to swap out a quick change spring system, you're still abusing the quick change spring system. See what I mean? And also, shooting high rate of fire or shooting quick on semi-automatic is not abusing the system. It's called spending the money, getting a good product, and having a quick trigger finger, pretty much, or having the skill to tune your engine to shoot fast on high rate of fire, whatever the case may be. That is not abusing the system. I've heard people say that. Shooting high rate of fire, shooting fast on semi-automatic, having that shorter trigger pull, spammability is not abusing anything. Not abusing the system, the rules, anything. It's just pure good performance. But it has that feature. It also got the red accents, dark red, CNC components there. On this one, it's got a kind of a lighter red CNC component on the UFA adjustment screw. On my older one, I think it was straight up black, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was black. It was a Ninja, actually. It was a Ninja UFA on my old regulator. On this one, I assume it's probably the stock Redline. Now, on the SFR, Redline actually marks it Redline, so they, so you know that the UFA is Redline, and then the body of it's also Redline. Again, these retail for $145 with the line. You can get it without the line for $115. I purchased it with the line because somebody was interested in buying this regulator, so I thought, well, I'll buy the line, and so he can buy the line for me too and get the whole bundle. I have yet to be paid for that, but that's whatever. If anybody wants a Redline Redline Firebase with a brand new camo Redline hose, I'm willing to sell it for $100 shipped. That's what I'm trying to get out of it. Is that a good deal? I think it's a pretty good deal. It's alright considering I'll ship USPS priority. So I am using my hose on this. As far as the reach on it, it's going to be about the same because it's literally about the same height from the top of the tank. So I will have no issues with length because it's really going to be the same. So as far as the best regulators out in the market, I think the best non-SLP is the Redline SFR. So as far as the refresh, we're going to test that right now. I'm going to plug in a brand new full tank. This is a Ninja. It's a 48. It is literally filled. It's a little bit above 3,000 PSI. I'm going to turn it on. It's at 90 PSI, just under 90 PSI right now, which is good. That's where I normally run this regulator. Now, for some reason, it was really weird with this regulator. When I first got this regulator used from a friend, or not a friend, just a random guy on HopUp, I ended up running about 90 or 85 PSI and shooting about 350 FPS with both of my guns. All of a sudden I start chronoing and it's a lot lower FPS. I was getting like 310, 320 and I was like, I'm at 85. So then I turn it to 90 and now it's 350 FPS. So for some reason this regulator seems to have lost 5 PSI. Don't know. I have no idea. So at 85 it used to shoot 350. Now I have to be at 90 to shoot 350. Really interesting. I'm pretty sure my old regulator did the exact same, the old Redline Firebase. So really interesting. So now at 80 PSI on the SFR, I shoot 350 with both of these HPA guns. So I can run lower PSI, but it's probably not lower PSI. This is probably putting out 80 or 85 PSI. It's just the gauge is at 90 because I don't know, because it's a used regulator or whatever. Taking these apart before and clean them, and that doesn't seem to help. So I thought I'd mention that. Alright, so I'm just going to shoot here so you can see the refresh. Hopefully you can see it on video. When I leave the tank on, it seems like the refresh gets worse. But when I first plug in a brand new tank and just turn the tank on, it seems to be better refresh. I'm going to test this, and I'm going to leave this pressurized and show you that the refresh becomes pretty bad. So that's actually pretty good. That would be good for me. But it's not consistent at this. And I'm just going to unhook it and I'm going to let it sit here. And I will come back later and see how the refresh is. It stayed pressurized. I'm going to unscrew the tank just a little bit, just so you're not concerned if the the UFA screw is adjusted all the way, because sometimes with the SLP regulators, it seems if you adjust that screw all the way, it kind of doesn't act right and it'll lose pressure, and then when you unscrew it just a tiny bit, it'll let pressure back through. So this is backed off about 1 full revolution, so that is not a factor into this at all. Alright, so I have not touched this tank. Let's go ahead and test it. It's been on for about 5-10 minutes. So we're going to see the refresh on it, see what it's like. Again, this is still pretty much a full tank. So you see, it seems like it's gone up in PSI. It was at 85, now it's more about halfway to 90, and the refresh is a lot slower. Can you see that? I did forget to mention, the Redline SFR actually comes with an Allen wrench, so you can adjust your PSI, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so here's the screwdriver. I also want to mention some fields put turning locks on your HPA regulators. They don't do it right, and people still cheat. That happens all the time. In fact, I don't think I've ever been to a field. Yeah, I have never been to a field that has properly regulated locked my tank. Never. I've never been to a field with a proper tourniquet lock, except Battlegrounds. I'm pretty sure at Battlegrounds I did get a proper turning lock. But at other fields, never have I ever gotten a proper turning lock. And so people, field owners and employees think, oh, we're doing it, but people are still cheating, so let's just ban it. No, you're not doing it right. You're stupid. Alright, so this is right at 80 PSI, which was giving me about 345, 355 FPS with a 0.2, which is perfect. It's super consistent as well. That's the FPS that I want to shoot. I don't use full auto that much. Contrary to popular belief, I really don't use full auto that much. I stay to semi-auto most of the time, most fields that I'm at. So let's test the refresh on this. I have just put the regulator to 80 PSI. Yeah, it's right at 80. So very, very good refresh. You can see it kind of bounce back and forth. That's exactly how the SLP works. That thing is bouncing back and forth. That's exactly how the SLP works. If you did not notice with the Redline Firebase, it seems to just stay below. It's not going back up. Whereas with this, it's going back up, but it's going so fast, so it looks weird on both of them, really, but it's a lot more consistent with this. A lot more. Now I'm going to leave this regulator hooked up here. I'm going to leave it on and see if I come back in about 5 to 10 minutes, just like I did with the Firebase, and see if the refreshes is good. This time I'll come back with my paintball gun. Alright, so I've let this thing sit for a full 15 minutes, okay? So, of course, 15 minutes is not super long for the regulator to be on. To not fire once, it's kind of a long time. During a game, at least the way I play, I'll never have a regulator on and not fired for about 15 minutes. Pretty much it hardly ever happens, unless, you know, I go back to staging for lunch or whatever and accidentally leave it on, which is highly doubtful because I always turn it off. So, let's go ahead and plug. I have my MP5 now. And let's see the refresh on this. Seems to be about the same. I don't really see much of a difference. As far as where I got this from Airsoft Master, like I said. You can get it from eBike on here. On eBike, it is $145. Now, for free 3-day shipping, you have to spend another $5. You have to spend $150, which, I mean, for most airsofters, finding something to spend $5 on is not hard. You just find some random thing and just buy it. So, there's that. Now, on Airsoft Master, it retails for $145 too. Now, let's see, I add it to my cart, and it actually takes off some money. And I think it's just for the Christmas time. It's $133.40 for the SFR with the line. I don't know if you can see that on there. So it's a lot cheaper. And then you go and spend $8 on shipping. And what is that? $140 something dollars. So you're spending like $144 for a regulator, Redline SFR shipped. Where you'd be spending what, $150 from eBike for, you know, shipped for free 3-day shipping. It's 3-day with the priority from Airsoft Master, which is USPS priority is how they ship it. It's 2 to 3 days, so you're getting about the same shipping method, but you're getting just a little bit more saving from Airsoft Master, like $2 savings, $2 or $3. Airsoft Master is a smaller retailer, so if I were you, if you're looking to go buy this regulator, just go on Airsoft Master and buy it. You're helping out a smaller business in that sense. And they ship it next day, which for e-bike, I can't always say that. Alright, so it's 30 degrees and snowing out here, so I'm going to test my Redline SFR. So this is going to be basically the best test for this regulator. So here's my MP5 with the V12. I got .25 BBs loaded up in some King Arms mid-caps. So let's go ahead and just put one mag through it, and then we'll put it through the chrono. .326, 332, 332, 331, 330, 337, 331, 330, 333, 329, 330. Okay, my battery just died on it. 1.27. Okay, I could only get one shot. I need to charge those batteries. 1.27 joules. Just above 1.2. It's running a little hard. Normally I shoot at about, I think it's about 320 to 315 with a .25. It's about 350 with the 2. So I need to lower it just a little bit. And like I said, the PSI is a little high from where the dial is. I'll show you. It's a little bit above 80. Yeah, it's a little bit above 80. I could probably do a half a revolution and be down at 80. Because that's where I need to run. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next video.